Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What is happening, my friends? What is going on, family? How is everyone doing on this great evening? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz, look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. My friends, on today's conversation, we're going to impact a lot of things happening in our world. First thing, we're going to discuss, starting off with some sports. Pete Rose, the late great Pete Rose, has recently been reinstated. He's no longer on the list that was like basically banned for being eligible for the Hall of Fame. If y'all, don't recall, Pete Rose, spectacular athlete, well-known baseball player, but he was known for also betting on his own games, which is a big no-no in the major leagues, and it was like a lifetime ban, literally like just for a lifetime. He has since passed away, and so now they're saying he's to be reinstated to make him eligible to possibly be inducted in the Hall of Fame. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. Also, we're also going to be talking about how the right is blasting Donald Trump for doing what he does best, not caring, not abiding by rules, and doing things unconstitutionally, like accepting $400 million private jets from foreign leaders. What'd you say, Answer? Oh yeah, it's happening. We're going to talk about it here on the show, and we're going to talk about some other things too, so please don't go anywhere, because we got a lot of stuff on store here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Got a lot of stuff on tap for you, so we are going to give it to you, obviously zero sugarcoating, unfiltered, and unapologetic. That's what we do here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As always, my friends, thank you so much for taking 1 hour of your time to tune into the program. I know you could be doing so many other things with your precious time, but the fact that you say, well, look, hold up, I gotta make the time to chop it up with my boy Arrington, man. Let's see what he's gonna be talking about today. So I truly appreciate that. As you know, there's multiple ways you can tune into the program. Got to shout out our folks that stream us on YouTube at the Arrington Gavin Show, or on Rumble. You can also stream us on the Goatverse TV app, Goatverse TV network. It's available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. That's an amazing platform, Black owned. Please support. It's so important that we support Black owned media, and Black media in general, not just Black owned, but Black media. And let's see. You can also listen to us on a variety of podcast platforms. Wherever you listen to your podcast, we're available on all major podcast platforms. You can also listen to us in the New Orleans area by way of WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. Thank you so much for those who are tuning into us in the New Orleans area, the Who Dat Nation, as I call it. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time, again on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. Also, shout out to our listeners in the Metro Atlanta area by way of WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. You can tune to the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hope to continue to build up and get on some more stations, just to continue to spread the message, man. Spread the message out there, and to spread just great conversation. Keep y'all up to speed of what's going on in our current world, man. Let's see. Did I forget anything? Oh yeah, social media. Duh. Do me a favor. Because I know everybody's on social media, so don't even use that excuse. I'm not on social media. Liar. I know you're on social media. Do me a favor, follow us on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. Again, that's ARRINGTON. Last name GAVIN. Arrington Gavin Show. The Arrington Gavin Show on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, as well as subscribe to our Substack page. I had a couple of recent pieces that I put out on Substack. One in regards to the multi-billionaire media mogul who recently came out the closet at the age of 83, despite still being married to his wife. Yes, read that piece. It's dope. Also, I spoke about the political, the switching of political parties happening in the state of Florida, man. There's so much back and forth. There's longtime Democrats switching to the Republican Party. There's there's Democratic leaders. I'm talking leaders of the Democratic Party that are leaving the Democratic Party because they're just not, and they're going as independents. There's GOP officials switching over to the Democratic Party. I'm like, y'all, what is happening in Florida? What is in the water? I mean, you know how I feel about both parties. I think it's it's kind of both a bunch of but I do believe there are good people, and not trying to mimic Donald Trump. There are good people on both sides. There are good people on both sides. But no, I do think you have good people on the right. You have good people on the left. You have good people in the center. But I just think as of right now, the whole two-party system is a losing strategy. I think they're both seeing themselves being, slowly depleting. I mean, the Republican Party lost due to MAGA. The Democratic Party is just losing because they can't get their stuff together because they have issues with, between progressives and moderates, right? The establishment and progressives, they can't get it together. And I'll actually talk a little bit about it here on the show. Because they're already talking about they have an issue with the new vice chair, David Hogue, which I think is again a load of crap. Because I look at it as, okay, this guy's trying to help the Democratic Party, out the gutter, because y'all buried yourself in a deep pile of what after this election, and you're not helping yourselves by refusing to give up power. All right, you're not helping yourself when you say, okay, if this guy says he wants to invest in new challengers rather than incumbents, look, again, y'all need to start, y'all give up. Y'all have been in the fight for a long time. It's time for new leadership. But let me not get all around the place. Again, do me a favor. Yes, subscribe to our Substack page. Follow us on social media. I truly appreciate that. Let's see it here. Yeah, we got a lot. We got line tap for you guys today. What we are gonna do first, let's go ahead and start off with our fun fact of the day. We like to kind of get the juices warmed up here before we get going in our headlines. Did you guys know that New York City has recently been ranked the worst place to date in America? Now, I love New York City. Love it. It's my second home. I have a lot of family in New York. All the family on my mother's side are New Yorkers. Love New York. Go Knicks, diehard Knicks fan, Yankees fan. I love New York. I love the busyness. I love the food. I love the culture. I love New York. Okay. But recently, they were ranked as the worst place to date in America. It says here, according to a recent study, despite having its highest population of singles, its dating scene is notorious for being both oversaturated and highly competitive. High living costs, low quality of life, a large number of non-committal residents make it difficult for people seeking meaningful relationships. In contrast, cities like Seattle, which topped the list as the best place to date, offered a better balance between cost of living and quality of life, making them more attractive for singles looking for long-lasting connections. Now, one thing I will say this, and when I first read the title, when I first read the headlines of this story, I'm like, I can kind of believe that. Why? Because people that live in New York don't have time to date. People in New York don't have time to have fun. New York is either the first or it's the second most expensive city in the United States. All right. It's a toss up between them and Los Angeles. The cost is crazy as hell. You got to stay working if you want to live a good life. You better be wealthy. If you're not wealthy, then you don't need to be living in New York City, because New York City will work you to the bone. The reason why you see a bunch of folks walking around like a bunch of ants, all right, is because they back and forth working. They just like, wow, what is the rush? Because look, I'm late for work. It's a city that never sleeps. They're open 24 hours. Everybody's working 24. They working late shift. They working morning shift. Ain't nobody got time for dating. Ain't nobody got time for dating. So when I read this study, I'm like, yeah, I can believe that. And I think that's, you're seeing that now in a lot of metropolitan cities, Chicago, DC, New York, Los Angeles, what else from big cities, Philadelphia areas. Like you see that as a common thing. Now Seattle, I mean, Seattle is for one, it doesn't rain a lot in Seattle. So obviously, folks be like, oh, I'm about to be cooped up. Let me go be cooped up with my boo thing. Okay. I mean, like they said, cost of living is not that bad and all that jazz. So it's a stress reliever saying, okay, look, I'd rather live in Seattle than New York City. New York City is so much stress. You gotta be worried about traffic. You're worried about catching your bus, your taxi, your train, keeping a job, run into a crazy person. I mean, it's just, there's so much stuff happening in New York, right? So much stuff happening in New York, but I love it. I love it. Shout out to NYC. Love New York City, to death. I really do. And I think a lot of folks, the media kind of gives it a bad rep because they're like, oh my God, how can you live in that place? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, first of all, craziness and crime and corruption, that happens everywhere. All right. So please spare me when you talk about one city having the worst of it. Look, you got crime everywhere. Now, is certain crime higher in selected areas? Yes, that happens. But I mean, New York is a wonderful place. Wonderful place. Let's see here. Before we head to a commercial break, I do want to also throw in our Black Excellence report. I haven't done this in a minute. Let's see here. This Black Excellence report. So I came across this story. Let's see if I can find it. This 90-year-old lady recently received her 5th degree black belt. Let me see if I can find the soundbite for you all. Let's see. Let me see if I have it. All right, there we go. See if I can play this clip for you. 90-year-old Thelma Jones received her 5th degree black belt. The Detroit woman has been practicing karate for 50 years. You hear me? 50 years.
Miss Jones is one fantastic lady.
Fantastic, celebrating her 90th birthday. But that's not all.
You mention Miss Jones, they go, oh yeah, I know Miss Jones. She's tough.
Tough because this 90-year-old has a 5th degree black belt in karate.
You noticed that when she was doing that blocking and punching, the other one said, well, my arm is kind of hurting now,
Thelma Jones lives on the east side of Detroit, yet she takes karate lessons from 77-year-old Grandmaster Willie Adams, a 10th degree black belt, 3 times a week at his Southfield dojo. So I'm looking around your studio here. maybe not everyone's 90, but some of them are kind of up there in age. Why?
Yes, they're all in their 70s. They're retired. They come here because they want to get in shape and, build self-confidence in themselves and, be slow to anger.
Do you learn more about life and being and your mental because of this?
Because of this, more about life. It really does. It teaches you to listen behind you, in front, be aware of all things.
When Miss Jones was 60, she used her karate to beat up potential robbers at a bus stop. But recently, when a suspicious man was following her,
I crossed the street back and he came behind me, so I went to the liquor store and waited till they left.
why did you use your karate?
No, that was karate right there. That was using your brain. I didn't want to duke it out with him.
Good advice. Something Miss Jones loves to give thanks to 50 years.
Miss Jones is one fantastic.
What a wonderful story, y'all. Let me tell you something. Miss Jones don't play. All right, 90 years old, 5th degree black belt. I ain't trying to. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. My wonderful, wonderful grandmother, my nana, she lived to be, I want to say, 92. And when you're raised by just great people, they put that fear of God in you, at a young age. Like, I've always told folks there were 2 women that I was scared of in my, in my past. I mean, in my life, and that was my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother, look, she might have been old and slow, but them hands was quick now. So trust and believe. And my grandma didn't have no black belt. She just had a 5th degree, black belt in a open up a can whoop ass. Like she did not play. But hearing this story about Miss Thelma Jones, 90 years old, still receiving, doing karate over 50 years, and congrats to her, her teacher, because like he said, most of his students are retired. It's great exercise. It helps you not just take care of your body, but your mind. Like she said, I had to defend myself at 6 years old, but the older I got, she's like, I became more wiser. I used my brain. And he said, why'd you fight up? She's like, I ain't trying to duke it up with him. I use my brain. That's in karate right there. So again, I want to shout out Miss Thelma Jones. Happy birthday, Miss Jones, and congratulations on receiving your 5th degree black belt. All right, family. Look, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back on the other side. You are tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to.
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
Yeah, this that new Goat Verse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Order your beard care products with Rugged Evolution. We're your local beard care line that supports the maintenance of your full, mature beard. Our line includes conditioning shampoos, moisturizers, balms, oils, shaving lotions, and exfoliating soaps. These products moisturize, hydrate, nourish, and have all the natural ingredients for a healthy beard. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs. And we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
People age 65 and older are at high risk of injury, especially from falls and car crashes. But older adults can take steps to stay safe from injury and be independent longer. Tell your doctor if you have fallen, if you worry about falling, or if you feel unsteady when standing or walking. Learn more about preventing falls and aging without injury at cdc.gov/stillgoingstrong.
All right, my friends, welcome back. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. Let's get it going with our first story here on the headline. Let me see if I can find it. Let's talk about, we're going to start off with some sports. So let's talk about Pete Rose. Pete Rose. Y'all remember that name, Pete Rose? Yeah, Cubs, great. I'm sorry, not Cubs, Reds. Sorry. My apologies. Reds, great. He was just, again, a phenomenal baseball player. I believe he had, let me see to backtrack his status. Well, the name sounds familiar because he was one of the athletes that was extremely talented, but he screwed up by betting on his games. And that was, again, at that time, a huge, and it still is, against rules in the world of professional sports. But it's such a touchy subject because now you look at all the sports betting and partnerships with different sports leagues. So it's like, wow, why couldn't they have not thought of this, sooner? But let me read you this. This reported by the Associated Press. It says here, MLB reinstates Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson, making them Hall of Fame eligible. Now, Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson were reinstated recently by the baseball commissioner, Rob Manfred, making both eligible for the Sports Hall of Fame after their careers were tarnished by sports gambling scandals. Now, Rose's permanent ban was lifted 8 months after his death, which, again, like I said, it sucks because you want to try and give folks their flowers while they're still here. But it came a day before the Cincinnati Reds will honor baseball's career hits leader with Pete Rose night. Again, all-time hits leader. And so you look at that and it's like, okay, if you ban him because he broke protocol, he broke the rules by gambling, it was during a sports gambling scandal. To me, I feel as though like steroid uses is much more serious than something like that. Barry Bonds, we're somebody in the comments had brought up, well, y'all need to reinstate Barry Bonds because he's done his time, this and any other. He was still a great athlete. He was. And the thing is, Barry Bonds had a great career, right? It obviously got tarnished because of the steroid scandal. But before even taking steroids, he was a hell of an athlete. He didn't have to take it, but it was a part of the baseball culture. It's a part of the professional sports culture, really, but preferably in baseball, because you hear a lot about folks that has dabbled in the steroid uses. Now, in my opinion, I'm like, okay, if he apparently did that to help make him like the home run leader, why is he still technically the home run leader? You can't have the home run leader and not have him in the Hall of Fame. Like, that just don't make any sense to me. Does it make any sense to you guys? Didn't think so. It doesn't make sense to me. It says here that the commissioner recently said that he was changing the league's policy on permanent ineligibility, saying bans would expire at death. MLB said 17 individuals had their status changed by their decision, including all 8 band members on the 1919 Chicago Black Sox, former Philadelphia Phillies president Williams D. Cox, and former New York Giants outfielder Ben Koff. So you're telling me everybody got to wait until they die in order to get inducted? I mean, what kind of sense does that make? Under the Hall of Fame's current rules, in the earliest Rose or Jackson could be inducted would be in 2028. Now, Rose agreed to a permanent ban on August 23rd of 1989 following an investigation commissioned by the Major League Baseball concluded Rose repeatedly bet on the Reds as a player and manager of the team from 1985 to 87, a violation of a long-standing MLB rule. Rose first applied for reinstatement in September of 1997, but Commissioner Bud Zelenk never ruled on the request. Now, Manfred in 2025 rejected a petition for reinstatement, saying Rose has not presented credible evidence or of a reconfigured life. I think that's the politics in it, in my opinion. I think that man just personally did not like what he did, didn't respect it, and said he can keep giving me more and more reasons to reinstate him. Now I'm not going to do it. Rose supporters have included U.S. President Donald Trump, who has said he intends to pardon Rose. Manfred discussed Rose with Trump when the pair met in April, but he hasn't disclosed specifics of the conversation. You know, Donald Trump just want to pardon anybody he thinks like, oh, you should be pardoned. Yeah, you should be pardoned. You should be pardoned. I mean, come on, he pardons everybody. He literally pardons folks that storms capitals, for crying out loud. So you might as well, pardon Pete Rose. In a letter to Lenkov, says here that the commissioner wrote, in my view, a determination must be made regarding how the phrase permanently ineligible should be interpreted in light of the purpose and policies behind Rule 21, which are to, 1, protect the game from individuals who pose a risk to the integrity of the sport by prohibiting the participation of such individuals, and 2, create a deterrent effect that reduces the likelihood of the future violations by others. That's a lot. That's a lot to impact, because again, you're talking about a guy that betted on games for 2 years. It's sad, but it's not like off the wall. Oh my gosh, he needs to be punished. Like, again, I go back saying a lifetime ban, I think, was overkill. I think that was a bit too much. Now, I get it. The man made extra side cash and did it the illegal route, and he disrespected the sport basically by doing that. But I just think that ban, that long ban, in my opinion, was a bit unfair. Seeing what other things we have seen recently from other sports leagues, and just players off the field issues, domestic violence, robbery, crashing, DUI, this and that. Like, we've seen worser cases, and they might do what? A few game suspension, a fine, then they're back on the field. I mean, come on now. It's not, again, this guy earned to be is well deserved in being a Hall of Famer. If we're just talking stats, he's well deserved to be a Hall of Famer. And that's why he still stuck with having so many folks that loved him, so many fans that appreciate it and that praise Pete Rose. Everybody loved Pete Rose, regardless of the scandal. Everybody people still love Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, guys that got caught up in the whole steroid issues. Like, those cats are still very much popular. So, I'm glad to hear that they're being reinstated. I just think, to say, well, it's a new thing we're doing as far as when folks will have a lifetime ban until they die, then we'll make them eligible, and this doesn't mean that he can, he's now getting inducted. We don't know. They said obviously it will be until 2028. If that's the case, but the committee could still wait. They could still be hesitant and be like, I don't know if I want to make I don't know if we want to induct this guy. At the end of the day, he did disrespect yada yada yada. So we don't know. We really don't know. Let me digress from this story, y'all. Let's move it on outside of the sports world into some politics. So I have a bone to pick with the Democratic Party, because I would consider myself, I'm an independent, but I lean left. So I'm a centrist, center left, however you describe you think on that one. But that's just how I've always been. I could never put a letter in front of my name or can never say, okay, I'm this. I just believe that the world is about, hey, coming together, and bringing the minds together and so on and so on. Let's see how that goes, because we have we live in a melting pot of views and values and this and that and the other. So we all got to come together and work on work for the greater good. But for one, I'll be damned if I will ever register as a Republican, not with how their track record, in my opinion, is. And you definitely don't want to be considered a Democrat right now, because it's like, it's the losing team. It's the losing team that can't get their ish together. They can't get their ish together within their own party, and it's a lot happening. So this came across Axios.com recently shared DNC takes steps towards ousting their newest vice chair, David Hogg, who, in my opinion, I think is a great asset to the party and is really doing what he can to help build up the party. You hear me? That's in my mind what I think he is doing. Now, a lot of folks, again, a lot of established folks, they say otherwise. They say otherwise. I think differently. Let me see if I can find let's see. Okay. I think that's what I want right there. Come out. And that is said. I want to see if I can. Let me see if I can share this soundbite with you. Let me see if I can come out of this. Let me see if I can come out of that. Give me 1 second, my friends. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Because it was already making headlines when he had said, hey, look, the money that he wanted to invest in primary challengers and not the incumbents, right? It woke up a long time Democratic strategist James Carville, long-standing officials like Hakeem Jeffrey, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, James Clyburn. I mean, so many folks had spoken about how they dislike that choice, but yet we see so many folks not seeking re-election, saying I'm retiring after this, which I think is good, because in my mind, that's their answer of saying, I think he's right. I think we need to go a new route. I think we need to start looking for the next young folks who are wanting to, has more ideas, who wants to really take aim on just, not, I won't say destroying, but, figure of speech. They want to destroy the growth of the MAGA movement and, the conservative movement. They're trying to pursue and say, look, I think I have what it takes, because these guys, they want to keep on repeating the same old cycle, and they're not trying to listen to what their constituents are telling them, nor do they want to listen to the young up and coming rising stars in the left leaning movement. They're already trying to freaking oust John Fetterman right now. John Fetterman, yes, he has things like I don't always agree with, but I respect the fact that he's not all about everything. I don't always have to agree with my party. I'm going to say what's on my heart. I'm going to say what's on my mind. If it looks like it's in agreement with the right, then hey, go be it. But that's just, I'm giving you my upfront. I'm being authentic. I'm being my authentic self. I'm not being like a puppet, like you see, or sharing talking points like we see most politicians do. Let me go and show you the soundbite. David Hogue had recently said, I think he was on Real Time with Bill Maher. Let me share this with you, and then I'll talk a little more after that.
There have been a few members that have come out that have said, well, if I retire, my life is effectively over. And what I would say is get over yourself. This isn't about you. This is about our country, and it's about your constituents. Nobody is I don't care if you've been there for decades or just one term. That seat is not yours. It is your constituents. That is who you're there to serve. And if they choose to serve somebody else, so be it. That's all we're trying to do with Leaders We Deserve is give people the option to vote for somebody that isn't necessarily the same person. There have been a few members that have come out.
And I just, I love that attitude. I love that message because it's true. See, they're ousting him because, he's speaking up. He's 25 years old. He don't care. He ain't holding nothing back. He's like, what do I have to lose? No, I'm gonna say what's needed, which I have not been saying the whole time. He said one thing. I remember. What did he say? He said something in regards to. He said something in regards to. It's nothing wrong with like the Democratic message. It's just we have bad actors sending out that message. I kind of, I disagreed. I'm like, no, it's the message. It's the message. All right. Y'all need to work on that. It's all about strategy. So let me read you this piece from Axios. It says here that the Democratic National Committee is moving forward with a challenge to David Hogue's election and that of another DNC vice chair just months after they attained their roles. It says here that the challenge centers on a procedural squabble, but Hogue, who I mentioned is 25 years old, is alleging it is connected to his place to spend $20 million trying to oust older Democratic members of Congress in primaries. He said it is possible to ignore the broader context of my work to help reform the party, which loomed large over this vote. The DNC's Credentials Committee voted 13-2 with three abstentions to void the February election of Hogue and Pennsylvania State Rep Malcolm Kenyatta as vice chairs. Now, the resolution will now go to full vote of DNC members if it passes. The election for the two vice chair roles will be re-administered. Now, at a losing candidate in the February vice chair race, Kalen Free has alleged that Hogue and Kenyatta were elected under a flawed tabulation process. Oh my gosh. See what I'm saying? Everybody wants that damn power. Y'all need to stop it. If y'all really care about the cause, you would stop thinking about yourself and be like, hey, look, you unfair. Because now they're doing the whole Donald Trump. I really won that election. Now they're trying not to concede elections. This is the hogwash. And what's interesting? I had on in my home state of Virginia, I had spoken with a gentleman who was running for a state delegate position. He was running for state delegate in the area, and young guy, very, very young. He started running fresh out of high school, and he's been a warrior ever since. Now, to me, because you can say he's more progressive, then you're starting to see now the local Democratic Party not really in support with, and I mean, we see it on a broader scale too. You see the separation between progressives and moderate Dems or established Democrats. You see a difference between the two. But I just look at it as like this. You're always going to have trial and error, right? That's why you have especially for state delegate races, you have they serve 2 years in one term, 2 years. Other races, they serve 4 years. Everything's going to be trial and error. But when you continue to re-elect somebody, there ain't no trial and error in this case. If you're not against the thing, then I'm sorry, you got to go. If you served more than 3-4 terms, you do the math. There's folks that's been serving for 26 years and going. There's folks, we have elected officials in my home, in my city, on a local level that's been serving since the 90s. We have, and it's, look, not saying that that's I am saying that's a bad thing, but I'm not saying that what they're doing is bad. I'm just saying the fact that on local sides, it always depends on who is going to run, because you can't continue to moan and groan about, well, these folks got to go, these folks got to go. And it's like, okay, well, are people running? Are people trying to run to take their seats, within their party? So in some areas, you might not see that happening on a regular, but you are starting to see more and more of them come out the woodworks, right? So why not embrace that new mindset? More youth, more energetic, why not? Folks that can't, when it comes to doing town halls, don't give us the cookie cutter same old, well, we've done this, I've done that, and I've done this, but see, we're up against a lot, and we're gonna continue to fight. Come on now. Come on, y'all. We gotta do better. In conclusion with this story, it says here that a pro-Trump operative and influencer, Alex Brucewitz, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, put out a statement blasting the vote as a coup and saying he strongly opposes removing Hogg as vice chair. Now, David Hogg's activism has sufficiently bolstered support for President Trump, inspiring countless Americans to align with the MAGA movement. His influence as a skilled operative has been invaluable. Again, family, I think the establishment needs to wake up and realize that you guys are losing. You're losing. Now, don't get me wrong. The right makes a fool of himself already with this, at least under this new administration. Before, I'm not gonna say they made a fool of themselves on a regular, but at least when Trump's in office, it forced them to make a fool out of themselves, because a lot of them are just, they gotta defend them because of the party and this and that and the other, and it's silly as I don't know what. It is truly silly. Let's see here. I'm looking with my time. Look, my friends, we're going to take another commercial break. We have a lot more here on the show. Next, we're going to discuss how the right is blasting Trump. And you're probably like saying, what? They over here, going after their fearless leader? Yep. Yes, they is. All right, my friends, look, do not go anywhere. We have a lot more show for you here on the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Jazarian Learning Institute, LLC, is a hybrid learning center that strives to educate adults and children in all fields. During the day, we offer programs that are focused on developing students from pre-K to 12th grade, which includes tutoring, homeschool co-op, an after-school program, SAT, ACT prep, and many more engaging academic programs. Our adult education programs include workforce trainings, GED prep, life coaching, various seminars, and many more. Our vision is to train and educate in a positive way that will lead to a positive change in the world, one person at a time. For more information, visit us online at JazarianLearningInstitute.com or call us at 757-208-7407.
Let me tell you something most people get wrong about suits. A suit isn't just about you wearing it. It's how you show the world who you are. It's your handshake before you say a word, your presence when you step into any room. That's why we design statements at Dapper Luke. We don't just make suits. We'll start with the fabrics that tell your story, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends sourced from the finest mills in Italy, the UK, and India. Then we'll combine that with your vision, your personality, and your style. Every detail is tailored to you, from the fit to the finish. Whether for your wedding, a gala, the boardroom, we specialize in creating custom suits that are unique, just like the men who wear them. We spent years perfecting this craft, apprenticing under designers in New York and showcasing collections in New York and for Baltimore Fashion Week. None of that matters as much as seeing the look on your face when you try on your custom suit. Over 900 clients have already trusted us to deliver the best custom suits. They trust me to deliver the confidence. We proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore and would be honored to bring your vision to life next. Let's create something unforgettable. Book your free consultation today at www.dapperluke.com.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the show. Welcome back. So look, let's talk about next up on the chopping block how the right is furious over Trump's defending, accepting, he's accepting these luxurious gifts from foreign leaders and defending it. He's like, well, why not? It's free. It's free. I come on. What's wrong with that? And I mean, once again, he already forces, the GOP elected officials to, have their work cut out because they're already dealing with the backlash that they receive from their constituents. I mean, let's not forget those town halls, man. Y'all remember looking at those clips of those town halls? Wow, weren't they vicious? Weren't they intense? Right? They couldn't get a word. They couldn't have time to sneeze, to turn nothing. Nope, couldn't even blink. They were just like bah, 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 bah. And hey, look, y'all got to come in. Y'all really deserve it coming because with this whole thing about cutting Medicaid, and it can really affect close to 14 million folks. With this new healthcare plan that's being brought up by the right. I mean, yeah, you kind of have it coming. Y'all deserve that smoke. Y'all really do. But this though is interesting because recently, and I might have brought up on a previous show, but one of the leaders from Qatar gifted the president a private jet valued at $400 million. $400 million. And let me tell you something. This jet is fire. This jet is gorgeous, I will say. And so the issue is, wait a minute. A current elected official? Isn't this a bribe? Is he legally, is he allowed to do this, right? So let me read you this before I show you this soundbite of Trump response to a reporter when they asked him about that gift. So Daily Beast reports that Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has defended, obviously, president's receipt of a flying palace from Qatar. It says here, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is not worried that the President Donald Trump could be enticed to give Qatar something in return after its $400 million flying palace gift. Fox and Friends host Brian Kilmeade pressed Leavitt on concerns that the massive Boeing 747-8 jumbo jet Qatar gifted the president amounted to a quid pro quo. All right. Kilmeade quoted, "Do you worry that if they give us something like this, they want something in return?" Leavitt replied by saying, "Absolutely not, because they know President Trump and they know he only works with the interests of the American public in mind." The Department of Justice insists recently that the $400 million jet did not violate the Constitution emoluments clause, which prohibits government officials from accepting foreign gifts without congressional approval. And Levitt claims that the plane's donation was done in full compliance with the law. Donation. Okay, so he receives a donation. So that means it has to be, everybody can use it, right? Or he can receive it as a donation and give it to his kids. Couldn't do that. Kids don't work in the administration anymore. Still in the news, spurred anger from the Democrats and even Trump-owned supporters, right? So we have folks like far-right conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer. Wow. Laura Loomer is even furious about it. Said the decision to accept the plane would be a stain on Trump's administration. The Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, said the plane amounted to premium foreign influence with extra leg room. Trump defended the decision to accept the plane. And let me share this clip with you right here. Speaking about receiving that gift.
Has Qatar asked for anything in exchange for that $400 million luxury jumbo jet? And how can the American people be so sure that they will not in the future?
Well, I think what happens with the plane is that, we're very disappointed that it's taking Boeing so long to build a new Air Force One. We have an Air Force One that's 40 years old. And if you take a look at that compared to the new plane of the equivalent, stature at the time, it's not even the same ballgame. If we can get a 747 as a contribution to our Defense Department to use during a couple of years while they're building the other ones, I think that was a very nice gesture. Now, I could be a stupid person and say, oh, no, we don't want a free plane. We give free things out. We'll take one, too. And it helps us out because, again, we're talking about we have 40-year-old aircraft.
Do you plan to use the plane after you leave office?
No, I don't. No, it would go directly to the library after I leave office. I wouldn't be using it. No.
It'll go to the library. The library. All right. So let me share some responses. Okay, so that was him defending receiving the gift. But let's share what U.S. Senator Ted Cruz had to say in regards to this. Let me play this clip because I have a couple of GOP members, him included, about this plane offer. So let's share what Ted Cruz, U.S. Senator out of Texas, had to say about that.
Questions about the emoluments clause and whether it's going to go to his library, whether he's going to get to fly on it afterwards. What are your thoughts about all this?
Well, listen, I'm not a fan of Qatar. I think they have a really disturbing pattern of funding theocratic lunatics who want to murder us, funding Hamas and Hezbollah. And that's a real problem. I also think that the plane poses significant espionage and surveillance problems. So we'll see how this issue plays out. But I certainly have concerns.
Questions about the emoluments clause.
That was Ted Cruz. That was Ted Cruz. Now let's move it on to Kentucky. Let's see if I can find that for you. Here we go. Now, this is what Senator Rand Paul out of Kentucky had to say. He was on Jesse Waters and discussing this. Let's go and share. Let me show you this soundbite.
It's not like a ride on the plane. We're talking about the entire $400 million plane. I think it's not worth the appearance of impropriety, whether it's improper or not. I don't think it's worth it. The other problem with Qatar is, I've spent time trying not to sell weapons to Qatar because they have human rights violations of their people. Many of their people are prevented from participating in the government, and some of the minority religious folks in Qatar are treated poorly. And so I really haven't been a big fan, and I wonder if our ability to judge their human rights record would be clouded by the fact of this large gift. So I wouldn't take it. That's just me. I don't think it's a good idea.
If Qatar does give it to him, and he says, hey, Rand, you want to hop on a jet down to Palm Beach? You'll say no?
Yeah. I've always wanted to ride on the Emiratis jet, where you have a shower and a bathtub and all that stuff.
Me too.
And a bar and a dance floor. But I've never been able to fork over the 20 grand, I think, each way. So I probably won't be riding on it. But no, I think it's a mistake. And it's just bringing up something he doesn't need. Look, the biggest success. And it's not like
Let me tell you something. Jesse Waters is such a tool. I'm sorry. I really can't stand that guy. Jesse Waters from Fox News. He's, you can tell when he's caught off guard because he thinks that every guest is going to just praise him and, set side with him and stuff. Jesse is one of those excuse my French, but he likes. I'm not gonna say it. He's in favor of Trump. He praises that man. He is a pro Trump supporter. All right. And he will do anything to help Trump look good. And so that's why he's like, you telling me? I mean, he's my least favorite, one of my least favorite guys on Fox. I will say that. Okay, so that was two GOP leaders, two GOP senators. Now, this is from the one and only Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire. This is what he had to say in regards to Trump and all this other stuff. Like, he's not too happy. Now, I already shared what Laura Loomer had said. Here's what Ben Shapiro had to say.
As not America first. Like, please define America first in a way that says you should take sacks of cash from the Qatari royals who are behind Al Jazeera. It just isn't America first in any conceivable way. So back to the original question. Is this good for President Trump? Is it good for his agenda? Is it good for draining the swamp and getting things done? The answer is no, it isn't. It isn't. If you want President Trump to succeed, this kind of skeezy stuff needs to stop. And here's the thing. It's already having an impact. You all remember President Trump launching $Trump crypto 3 days before taking office as president. Trump himself announced the Trump crypto on X and Truth Social. He described it as a meme coin, meaning it had no inherent value. It was just there for the kind of bleeps and giggles. The price spiked to a trading value of nearly $13 billion, making it the 19th most valuable cryptocurrency on planet Earth. And then it proceeded to plummet, like really, really dive. The project allegedly netted people associated with it, meaning the Trump organizations associated with the Trump crypto, some $350 million. 80% of the outstanding supply of that meme coin is still held by insiders, presumably members of the Trump organization, which means that foreigners are buying a lot of the meme coin and then getting meetings with President Trump.
I would continue that soundbite, but I'm looking at my time right here, and that's come from Ben Shapiro. I listen to Ben Shapiro. I might not agree with most of the things he says, but one thing, the man is highly intelligent. He's passionate about his views. I respect that. I don't have to like what he has to say, but if when you get it from him, you're like, oh, this is serious. So real quick, I'm looking at my time. Several controversies has emerged during this new Trump administration, raising concerns over ethics, legality, and foreign influence. So boom, we're talking about the gift from Qatar, $400 million jet. Okay. World Liberty Financial and Foreign Investments. All right. Trump meme coin and ethical concerns, mass firing of inspector generals, relaxation of anti-bribery enforcement, promotion of Tesla and market manipulation allegations, and then crypto holdings among senior officials like Tulsi Gabbard, National Intelligence Director, as well as Scott Benson, Treasury Secretary, who all have significant investments in cryptocurrency. I mean, the audacity from these folks that who will blast, the establishment of to say like a Nancy Pelosi, because I've talked about Nancy Pelosi, right? I've shared here on the show the fact that it is odd when you see folks that say make $250,000 a year or under that, and by the time they retire, they're multi-millionaires. And I'm not talking about no 3 million, 5 million. I'm talking like $50 million. It raises questions, right? But look at the hypocrisy. These folks right here that are doing these investments, they're the same ones that criticize those. So that's what I'm saying. It's a whole back and forth thing, which is sickening. My friends, look, I'm looking at my time. Love you guys. I will see you on the next one here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Continue to support the show. I will talk to y'all soon, my friends. Peace and blessings. I am out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.